we welcome you to the Sprite 100 here from Daytona. We have the return of Nick Green behind the wheel of the 50, and we have a rookie in the 51. Her name is Michaela Winstead. Michaela Winstead driving the 51 should be fun indeed. Let's send it trackside for pre-race ceremonies. Race fans, if you're able to, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem.
Sup, homie?
And now, race fans, it's time to see where your favorite drivers are starting. Starting in 31st, driving in the 11, Luke Dockery. Starting in 30th, driving in the 63, Allie Brossman. Starting in 29th, driving in the 33, Riley Poindexter. Starting in 28th, driving in the 66, last week's winner, Quentin Sheff. Starting in 27th, driving in the 50, the two-time Crazy Sports Good League champion, and everyone calls him the King. Welcome back, Nick Green. Starting in 26th, driving in the 77, it's Nate Rao. Starting in 25th, driving in the 14, the Texas Oval winner, it is going to be Kellen Sheff. Starting in 24th, driving in the 2, it's Nolan Farley. Starting in 23rd, driving in the 3, Brayden Mills. Starting in 22nd, driving in the 19, David Loudon. Starting in 21st, driving in the 29, Boston Matthews. Starting in 20th, driving in the 44, it's Drime Lomax. Starting in 19th, driving in the 55, Grady Broughton. Starting in 18th, driving in the 10, Cohen Moore. Starting in 17th, driving in the 9, it's Lily Horner. Starting in 26th, driving in the 51, her twin sister is starting inside the top 10, but this time, it's Michaela Winstead. Starting in 15th, driving in the 22, it's Maya Dimmick. Starting in 14th, driving in the 17, Penn Pearson. Starting in 13th, driving in the 27, it's Paige Soper. Starting in 12th, driving in the 32, it's Cole Flick. Starting in 11th, driving in the 15, the other sister of the 51, driving in the 15, it's Bailey Winstead. Starting in 10th, driving in the 65, Landon Gilliott. Starting in 9th, driving in the 82, it is Grant Irwin. Starting in 8th, driving in the 74, it's Jonathan Stevenson. Starting in 7th, driving in the 46, Flavi Rader. Starting in 6th, driving in the 4, Kinsey Arnett. Starting in 5th, driving in the 12, it's Jackson Hartman. Starting in 4th, driving in the 38, It's Eli Jackson starting in third, driving in the 42. It's Jordan Spencer starting in second, driving in the 83. It's Abshar Khan, and starting on the pole, it's Bryce Pax in the 18. 100 laps of racing. Only raining for the beginning part of the race, and we are green at Daytona. We usually see chaos on the first lap, but I don't think we will. Why I say that is because it's raining, and you can see how slow everybody's going right now. It's 3 wide, going for third. And it's side by side for the lead. Great racing now. Here comes Spencer. And we do have a couple cars round. Riley Poindexter and Allie Brossman looks like that they were involved. Poindexter and Brossman involved in the crash. And we have multiple packs now forming. Multiple packs of cars forming as Bryce Pax will lead lap 1 here in Daytona. We should see the rain clear up pretty soon, and then should be dry for the rest of the race. And that is a big factor in this race as well. The rain going to sunlight is a huge factor. As we see the back of the top 10, Hartman and Gillett battling for 6th. And Pearson is into the top 10, same as Cole Flick. Where are the sisters at right now? Looks like that Michaela Winstead is in front of her twin sister, Bailey Winstead, coming to lap number 3. Bryce Pax has led both laps so far here in Daytona, and we're just getting started. We should see some more chaos once the sun comes out and cars decide to pit. Here we go, taking a look back in the pack, back deep in the field. The 15 and 51 look like that they might be battling soon. How about Michaela Winstead and Gray Irwin side by side? Then going after the 15, Michaela Winstead gets slowed up. She's in 18th now, as her twin sister Bailey will pass her. It's so much fun seeing the sisters race each other, and it will be even more fun if they race for the win versus each other. It's Bryce Pax and Jordan Spencer 1 and 2 on lap 4 of 100. You can see the multiple packs forming. We have a battle for the lead. Spencer went to the bottom, looked for the lead, but he couldn't take it away. Bryce Pax continues to lead. Here comes Colin and Arnett. Kenzie Arnett in the 4, closing back in on the 83. Next week, we are going street course racing from Long Beach. And we know for a fact that Matthew Campton will be back behind the wheel. He will drive the 51. And he is going to make his second career start. And he hopes to hopefully win next week on the street course of Long Beach. Now, back up front. Arnett there. How about the 38 there? The 38 gets loose. Loses ground. Battle for 4th, and how about the battle for the lead? It's Spencer and Pax side by side for the lead, and it's side by side behind them. Side by side for the lead and 3rd. For 1st and 3rd, it's all side by side. here in the evening at Daytona. And once the rain stops, it's going to take a bit for the track to dry. But it shouldn't take long here in Daytona. Here comes the 42 and 18. Side by side for the lead. Pax will lose the lead. Jordan Spencer to the lead in Daytona. Spencer will lead lap number 6. The 65 there. How about this big gaggle of cars? Big pack of cars back here. Let's check in at the back of the field. Riley Poindexter and David Loudon looks like that they are. No. Riley Poindexter and Allie Rossman still deep in the field. But in the lead, it's all Jordan Spencer. Oval racing in the rain isn't as impressive now as it is in the dry. As it should get even more crazier once the track starts to dry. How about the 65? Landon Gilliott moving through the field, looking for his first career victory. He wants to win here in Daytona. Here comes the 42. The 42 leads. Side by side for second. Here comes the 4 of Kinsey Arnett. Kinsey Arnett has some speed. That Pat Green Motorsports car, the 4, has some speed. Same as a 42. That 42 is also racing for Pat Green Motorsports. And just like at Texas, Eli Jackson has some speed. Is that Stevenson or Dockery that is inside the top 10? That's Jonathan Stevenson now going after the 65. As the 4 is trying to close back in on the 42. You can see some of the sunlight there, but it is still raining. It's still raining and the track is still wet. Jordan Spencer comes to lap 10 of 100. Spencer continues to lead. Here comes Jonathan Stevenson. That 74 car has some speed. Guys, don't look now, but the rain is beginning to stop. The rain is beginning to stop. And once the track drying process starts, with the heat of these cars, we should see some pit stops to get slick. To get slicks. And you can tell that the pace is already going up. Here comes Arnett. Side by side for the lead. The front pack is already inched closer to each other now. And Stevenson is up to 4th. We are not shocked to see Stevenson in 4th as he is driving in a Schreiner Motorsports car. Schreiner Motorsports here in Daytona usually has speed. Audrey Schreiner has won multiple races in the 74 here. So, of course, Stevenson is running up front. Kinsey Arnett has a huge lead over the 42, but that gap might close. And it is closing just by a bit. Kinsey Arnett continues to lead here in Daytona. Lap 11 of 100. About lap 50 or so, lap 50 or so should be when we have our quick break. Which I know that before then we will see more and more wrecks. And we know for a fact that before then as well we will see pit stops. Stevenson looks like that he's going to have to pit soon as well. Pit stops will happen, and that's going to bring pretty much everybody in. As you can see it, you can see the sun peeking through. You can see the rain kind of being light. Only light rain remains. And the rain should stop anytime. The sun is peeking through, and you can see it. Some of the track is kind of drying up, but there is still wet areas on this racetrack. It's not raining that much now. Down the back straightaway we go. It's still the Ford who leads. You can see it in this area of the racetrack. The track is still kind of soaked. But the track should be drying any time now, with the sun coming out and the cars going around it. Here comes the 82 around the outside of the 74. Can I make a move? And here comes Khan to the inside. Abshar Khan will take third, and he is on the move. He wants second. Khan is closing back in. Packs now back up to fourth. We have two pretty big packs now in this first pack. Looks like that it is starting to split apart here, as the first few cars are now starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. Khan will take third. Will take second away, and he's closing back in on your leader. Kinsey Arnett leads in Daytona. Lap 15 is on the board. The rain is stopping, and Arnett leads. Khan there in second. Is Abshar Khan going to use the draft to his advantage? Here comes Khan, trying to get a good run on the on the 4. You can see it. Lap 15 is on the board. You can see how dry the track is starting to become as they are racing around this racetrack. Track drying in the process. Still kind of raining just a bit, but you can see it. You can see more and more sunlight and less raindrops. Looks like that they have started to create a line. Let's run along with the 83 of Abshar Khan. He has a bumper cam. This should give a good intel on how wet the track is as we ride along with Abshar Khan. You can see it. This side of the racetrack is soaked. And that's pretty much because of the clouds and the rain still there. But you can see it. Some of the track is starting to dry. You can see some dry track right here in the area that they are racing. Dry track is there. Wet track on turn 3 and 4, and then somewhat dry track after the front stretch. When will we see our first pit stops? I think the 74 will have to pit soon, and we know for a fact it's the same way on every single oval. Maybe not Monza, because we usually don't run into this problem. But if you run out of gas and cause a big crash, you will be suspended for 2 races. That's why Aaliyah Dean is not driving in the 50. If she hadn't done that, like at Texas, then then she would be still racing here this weekend and last weekend. The 18 is there in fourth. As you see the 74 there in fifth. Lap 18 is on board. More dry line being discovered. More dry track. Is more dry track. I don't know what I'm saying now. A lot of the track is now dry, as you can see. Barely any chicken tails of water behind them. They are barely creating any water behind them. Here comes Pax to the inside. He wants third. Pax gets sideways just a bit, and we have a car entering pit road really early. And it's Bailey Winstead. Bailey Winstead entering pit road really early. That's super interesting. Penn Pearson is pitting. Same as the 46 and the 9. We have pit stops starting here on lap 20. Kenzie Arnett leads on lap number 20. Jonathan Stevenson sits in fifth. Let's see, is his crew telling him to pit? Or is he going to stay out? Stevenson's just going to stay out. One lap left on his fuel, and Stevenson is going to stay out, which means now we need to keep an eye on him. Is he going to be the first one to be suspended here today? He is out of gas. We are hearing that he is running out of gas. His car is sputtering. It would be bad if they catch him in the worst spot, which they might. Here comes the 74. You can see it. He is slowing down. Stevenson slowing down. He's not going to the inside. He ain't pitting. There he is. He's completely out of gas. Stevenson. And around goes the 38. Only a one-car spin as the 38 goes through the grass. You can see the 38 spun down to the inside. Crazy Sports Good League officials will have to review that. If they deem it unsafe, they will suspend him for 2 races. We should know something pretty soon. Here comes the 4 and 83. Still on wet tires. The rain is stopping. Pretty much everybody is on is still on wets. Only 30 cars remain on the racetrack. Is Landon Gilliott going to pit this time? Yes, he is. He's not going to pull a Jonathan Stevenson. Flick pitting with 2 laps left on his fuel. A lot of cars pitting. And a lot of cars with wet tires still on the race car, as a dry line has formed. You can see still some puddles on the racetrack, but the dry line has formed really well on this racetrack. It's going to be interesting to see if we see any more drivers. If we see any drivers switch to slicks. And we are close to having a wreck on the back straightaway, but it's not happening. Back onto the front stretch. It's the 4 who leads here in Daytona. Driver's still on wet tires here, as it won't be long until those wet tires start to lose grip, as they are finding the wet lines around the racetrack now. They were running on those double yellow lines trying to get more water on those wet tires. As a dry line has formed, it's going to be hard to find those wet spots on the racetrack. You can see it. The leaders are pitting. Everybody's going to probably have to pit here. And the reason why is to get slicks. Bryce Pax is not pitting. He has 9 laps left on his fuel. Hartman is pitting. Ben Pearson is not pitting. And we aren't seeing that many pits. I mean, not that many people are pitting here, which honestly is shocking. Of the people that came to pit road, they're going to have to come back to pit road to get fresh slicks. As the 18 now running one more lap than the others, the 44 goes up and against the wall. Nick Green is there in third. Here comes Green around the outside. Looks like that for the first time in a while, Green is going to have the lead in a Crazy Sports Good League race. Now it's going to be interesting. Is he going to stay out on those wet tires, or is he going to come to pit road this time by? If he stays out, he might cause a big crash. But since he is a part-time driver, it really doesn't matter. Here comes Green. Side by side. And Green there is staying out on the racetrack. And he's going to do the same thing he did last year. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think he did this last year on this same racetrack as well. Green is going to run out of gas and cause a big crash. Green goes to the top. Michaela Winstead is there. Michaela Winstead should not be liking this. And the 50 is slow. And he dives down low, and he's being smart. Green does not cause a big crash, and he's out of the race. Nick Green is out of the race. Quentin Sheff there in second. You can see how fast these drivers are with the slicks. You can see how fast the drivers are with and without the slick tires. Question is, do anybody have slick tires? From what I'm seeing, no, they don't. They're still on wet tires. That's not going to go well here on this racetrack. 30 laps in, next time by, we are going to see about 70 laps to go, and Bryce Pax will have the lead. And Pax is pitting, and I think I know why. Here we go. 70 laps to go, and next time by, apparently. I don't know why they didn't. Yeah, that should have been 70 to go there, but it's not. Here we go, folks. Drivers come to pit road, I think to get slicks. Yes, there is a car on slicks. And it's Nolan Farley. Nolan Farley is going to be the first driver on slicks. Nolan Farley actually has some common sense. His pit crew has common sense. Nolan Farley on slick tires. And you can tell drivers are trying to find the wet lines of the racetrack, but they cannot find it. Colin has a 1 second advantage. We should see pit stops happening here soon. Quentin Sheff actually has a... Quentin Sheff is actually the first one on the racetrack with slick tires. Looks like that the 51 might be inside the top 10. As we see Jordan Spencer pitting for slicks. 70, now 69 laps to go. It's the 83 who leads. As we see some cars, I think with slick tires right in front of the leaders. And once they start to get slick tires, that's when pretty much everything should go to chaos. As the 4 is pitting and the 12 and the 32 is as well. The 17 is coming down pit road. The 44 is coming down pit road. Dockery will have second. We see some drivers on slicks here. The 66, the 2, heavy damage to the 2. Looks like that we had a crash. No, we didn't have a crash, but we have 2 cars out. Nick Green and Jonathan Stevenson. The Crazy Sports Kid League officials have gave us the verdict. Jonathan Stevenson has been deemed unsafe and will be suspended for 2 races. Shriner Motorsports will be without a driver of the 74 for 2 races, as they have the option to pick up the 24 car and have drivers race there for 2 in that car for 2 races. Oh my gosh, what happened to Paige Soper? You can see the 83 is now finally pitting. No, that's not Soper. That's David Loudon. Looks like that there was another wreck. And how I know is that there are now 28 cars on it. Quentin Sheff in 3rd. Slick Tires is paying the difference, and Quentin Sheff might go back-to-back. Is this year going to be run by the Chefs? Quentin Sheff trying to go back-to-back here this season. Quentin Sheff is up to 2nd. As you see it, the sun is starting to set. Luke Dockery has the lead here in Daytona, but for how long? Dockery is staying out as we see the 19 pit. What is happening here in Daytona? Those wet tires shouldn't last too long now, as the 66 with slick tires should close the gap back on your leader of Luke Dockery. You can say the gap is starting. No, it's not closing. What's going on with the 66? I don't know, but he doesn't have that much speed. What is Luke Dockery doing? Luke Dockery staying out another lap on those wet tires. I think pretty much everybody in the field has all slicks. As they go 3 wide, that's not going to work. That somehow works. Flick, Farley, and Kahn go 3 wide. How that worked, I don't know. I have to see. Is the 11 the only car on the racetrack with wet tires? I think so. Yeah, he is. Luke Dockery is the only driver on the racetrack with wet tires. And he is staying out there. He's like, well, these are tires, so I can still race on them. The thing is, though, the track temp is rising, and that's not going to be good for the tires. His tires might shred soon. And pretty soon we will see him start to slow up a lot more as the 66 starts to close back in. Luke Dockery, by speed or strategy, has the lead come to lap number 40. Come to lap 39. He gets lap 39. It is Luke Dockery who leads here in Daytona. Chaos has struck here in Daytona. It's a really good race, as we see all kinds of strategy playing out right now. Something's going on with the 66. Yeah, I see what's going on. He's stuck in traffic. Quentin Sheff is stuck in traffic, and I think that's why the 11 is staying out. Coming to lap number 40. 61 laps to go, and we see the 11 leading on 4 wet tires. I think he has the oldest tires on the racetrack, and the gap to second is still not closing, as the 66 is in a battle with lap cars. This strategy is not right. The 11 continues to lead on the wet tires. As you saw before, drivers on the wet tires trying to find the clear line. Trying to find the wet areas on the racetrack, but they couldn't anymore. We have 60 laps to go. The clouds are going away. It was once rainy, and now it is a beautiful night. And it should be like this for the rest of the night. It should be clear for the rest of the evening here in Daytona. The lights are on at this very beautiful racetrack in Daytona Beach, Florida. We see the 11 leading here. And the possibility is for next week is that Shriner Motorsports for the 74 we are hearing that Andre Schreiner, she might go on ahead and steal Matthew Campson away from RMG Racing for he to race in the 74 at Long Beach, which would mean that we might see Nick Green driving the 51 there at Long Beach, or maybe it might be Michaela Winstead back-to-back weeks. Or will we see the team owner himself, Ray Green, returning? Or should we call him the Magician? Ray Green has gotten that nickname so many times after he has used so much magic to get up front when the time is right. You can see the track is completely dry. A lot of the track is completely dry, and the track temp is rising. And with these cars going around it, and with those wet tires on this 11, it won't be long until the 66 starts to cut into the time quickly. Quentin Chef still in the battle with lap cars, and he is on slick tires, so that's why I say he should close back in on your leader really quickly soon. Dockery leads through turn 1 and 2. Luke Dockery leads. And let's take you for a quick look at your top 20. Luke Dockery leads as he leads over Quentin Chef, Nolan Farley, Bryce Pax, Jordan Spencer, Jackson Hartman, Dryme Lomax, Cole Flick, Nate Rao, Amchar Khan, Penn Pearson, Grant Irwin, Michaela Winstead, Lily Horner, Cohen Moore, Kwame Reader, Paige Soper, Maya Dimmick, Landon Gilliott, and Grady Broughton. That's your top 20. As we go back up to the leader, he is still not pinning. And take a look at the gap to second. The gap is closing just barely. Lap 46 is on the board of 100. We are almost halfway through this race. We started out raining. They had to practice and qualify in the rain. And now here in the clear track conditions, this is what everybody was hoping for. Evening racing at Daytona in the clear. No rain on the radar, and no rain on the radar for the rest of the race. Maybe until the very, very, very end. Maybe when they're celebrating on pit road. But, I mean, in victory lane, when somebody is. But yeah, lap 47 is on the board. Luke Dockery continues to lead. I think he knows that he's not going to win this race, so he needs a very good strategy, and I think he's trying to have a strategy to win this race. I don't know. I don't see this playing out, though. He's on wet tires. Everybody else is on slicks. He's the only driver in the field on wet tires. But if he pits soon, he will most likely have the freshest slick tires. And I just don't see it working out, though. But it will be interesting, though, to see if he's able to stretch it near the end of the race. If he is able to stretch his fuel near the end of the race, like he's doing right now, it will be interesting to see if he wins. Well, right now, the driver to watch for is at 66. Quentin Chef trying to go back-to-back here in Daytona. Won last week at Circuit of the Americas in a very strategy-heavy race. In a lot of passing zones, in a lot of passing, and that was a rain race as well. Quentin Chef won that last week. We saw Kellen Chef win the week before in Texas. This year might be run by the Chefs. Quentin Chef is in second to Luke Dockery. If this was a 50-lap race, Luke Dockery would be on his way to victory lane, but we are almost to halfway here in Daytona. Luke Dockery knows that he is probably not going to be winning this, so that's why he's staying out. Luke Dockery across the line, lap 50 of 100. Next time by, we'll start our short break. Let's take a look at the back of the field. Where is Bailey Winstead, or is she still in the race? We have seen so many times where the 15 has no luck. And it looks like that for the second time this year, Bailey Winstead is going to get another DNF. Halfway through this race, Luke Dockery leads. And we are going to go riding along with the other Winstead. We're riding along with Michaela Winstead. Luke Donkery still has not pitted to get... Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. 40 laps to go. I think he's just going to try to run it out until he runs out of gas. Luke Donkery, only 3 laps left on his fuel, has not yet pitted to get 4 fresh tires. Has not yet pitted to get more fuel and 4 fresh slick tires. He is not yet pitted. Is he pitting this time? No, he's not. Not that I know of. Luke Donkery already made 1 pit stop earlier. Here he is. 39 laps to go. Donkery leads on the wet tires, and you can see that it's not working out for him. And I'm honestly shocked that he hasn't blown a tire yet. Those tires might be invincible because he should be losing tons of ground, and he should have popped a tire. He's not pitting. Oh my gosh. Luke Donkery might be the next driver out of the race, as I think he's just going to run it out until he runs out of gas, which he has. Luke Donkery is about to run out of gas, and he could be in position to not only get suspended for 2 races, but if his team gets caught cheating with those tires, he might be having to be suspended for about 3 races now. Luke Donkery is in a bad position. The 11 is going to the middle of the track, and he's going to cause a wreck. Donkery stops right in the middle of the track, and that should be an automatic suspension. And just like that, Quentin Sheff to the lead here in Daytona. Here we go, here from Daytona. The 42, they're closing back in on the 66, but Quentin Sheff has the lead. Lap 63 is on the board. Are we going to see back-to-back wins for Quentin Sheff? He won back last week at Circuit of the Americas. Trying to go back-to-back. Trying to become the first driver in a really long time to go back-to-back. Here we go. Quentin Sheff continues to lead here in Daytona, 100 laps in this race. And he could be in position to get his 2nd straight win this season. The Chefs have dominated this year, with them leading. This is crazy. You see him leading here. The sun is going down. His brother, Kellen, won at Texas. Kellen Sheff, we know that he's not winning this race. 27 cars left on the racetrack. And we have not seen that many accidents today like we usually do. But if you really want to see accidents, come back in a few weeks as we are back at Sonoma and Kern County. And then a few weeks after that, we are going to the Brickyard. and it will be accidents galore. We usually see wrecks on the front straightaway, and that is what's probably going to happen. We will probably see accidents galore on the front straightaway on the first lap. Would that be interesting to see that happen? I think we will see it happen. As Quentin Chef leads with 14 laps left on his fuel on lap 66. And on this, it's very convenient, but Kellen Chef in the 66 leads on lap 66. How about there in second, Nolan Farley has a chance to get his first career victory. About this top 10 now. Jackson Hartman inside the top 10. Very interesting. Michaela Winsett has a chance to get a top 10 finish in her first career race. That's very something. And here we go, here from Daytona. Quentin Chef, Kinsey Arnett, you can see them there side by side right now. But it's still the 66 who leads. Lily Horner has heavy damage. I don't know where she got that from. Heavy damage by the number 44. By the 9. As we see the 66 leading on lap 68. We are close to 30 laps to go here from Daytona. Things are getting down to the nitty-gritty. With things going down to the nitty-gritty, who's going to win here in Daytona at the world center of racing? And if it rains on the final few laps, could that change everything? It might change everything, and we might see rain back into the mix. If that happens, in the last 20 or so laps, we might even see a wreck. Not wreck, but pit stops. You might see pit stops happen because of rain. They might have to go back to pit road, get rain tires, and that could hurt everybody as well. Pit strategy has been all over the place, with cars staying out for dumb reasons. I'm talking about Luke Dockery for not pitting and getting slick tires as he just ran it all the way out of gas. And now across the start-finish line, lap 70 of 100 is on the board. Everybody knows that they have to try to gang up and defeat Quentin Chef. This year might be all about the Chefs. The 66 trying to go back-to-back. We know that everybody will have to make at least one more pit stop. The 66 continues to lead. The 66 leads here in the Sprite 100. 30 laps to go here from Daytona. As we see Quentin Chef leading, let's have a full field rundown. It's Chef, then it's Farley, then it's going to be the 42 of Jordan Spencer, then it's Pax, Gray Irwin, Jackson Hartman, and others now. Then it's Raider in 7th. In 8th, it's the 83. Then the 17 in 9th. And then in 10th, we have a good battle back here. In 10th, it's that 32 of Flick. Then it's the 10 of Cohen Moore. Then it's going to be Nate Rowell, Grady Broughton, Michaela Winstead, Dry Lomax, Maya Dimmick, Landon Gillett, Boston Matthews, Kinsey Arnett. As we see some cars kind of getting wild up here. Then it's Braden Mills. Then it's Allie Brosman. I think it's Brosman, yeah. Allie Brosman. And then it's going to be Eli Jackson, David Loudon, Lily Horner. Then it's Kellen Sheff. Then it's going to be Paige Soper and Riley Poindexter. Riley Poindexter is way back. Is way behind. As we see the 66 leading on lap 73. Lap 73 is on the board. Some cars kind of getting sideways here as pit stops might be happening here in the next few laps. We know that pit stops will happen with less than 30 laps to go. Although he has 19 laps left on his fuel, he will still have to pit. That is the 2 of Nolan Farley. As we go back up front, it's Quentin Sheff who leads. The 74 laps are on the board. Next time by will be 26 laps to go. Sheff goes to the bottom. Now the question is he going to have the same pit strategy as the 74, the 50, and the 11, who all decided to stay out and run out of gas? That's the question. If he does, he would be out of the race and possibly suspended, as we will have 2 drivers suspended entering next week's race out of Long Beach. We could see Jack Moon return, and he could drive the 11. Good question, though. The 66 kind of wiggles there. Sheff going to the bottom, and he is not going to play it dumb. Quentin Sheff is going to pit, and that will leave Nolan Farley in second, as Nolan Farley is going to take the lead here in Daytona. We have a new leader at the World Center of Racing. Nolan Farley leads with 25 laps remaining. Would it be something to see Nolan Farley and Team Penske get their first win of the year, and Farley his first win of his career? Nolan Farley has been so good this season, and we are seeing it. Just race 3. Actually, no, Nolan Farley was really good last year, but this year, trying to have a lot of luck on his side. This year, through the first 2 races, his speed has not been there. The 2 speed has not been good. And honestly, that's really shocking. Lap 77 is on the board. When will we see those pit stops start to happen? Well, hello. I didn't see this happening. If the 2 doesn't win, we still might see a Team Penske win, but his name is Jackson Hartman. I don't know where that came from. Hartman now, I think, has the best fuel on the racetrack, and Quentin Sheff is all the way back behind cars that have more fuel than him. Man, oh man, how about that? 51 more fuel than that 66. Lap 78 is on the board. Time running out for everybody here in Daytona. 12 laps left on his field. He will be able to stretch it. There will be cars that will be able to stretch it a long way. Grant Irwin is coming to pit road. The 83 and 17 both have more fuel in their tank as well. But right now, the 12 has the most fuel in his tank. Strategy coming up close here. Nolan Farley on lap 11 continues to lead. Lap 79. And he's pitting with 11 laps left on his field. He's not stretching it, as it's going to be the 42 back there. Which other drivers will be pitting here? That's the question. We see the 2 pitting. Jordan Spencer is going to have the lead, I think, this time. Here comes Spencer there. Spencer is there. Down on the inside. How about the 66 there as well? That's Quentin Sheff. Lap 80 is on the board. New leader. It's the 42, Jordan Spencer. Spencer has the lead. Grant Irwin now just coming out of pit road, and he is a slow car as the 42 pulls away. 2 cars now on pit road as we see the 42 continuing to lead. Jordan Spencer through turn number 4, this time by. Everybody's going to hear on the radio 20 laps of racing left. The 2 coming out of pit road. Is this enough? How about the 66 right there? Sheff there. And he's just barely going to get around the 2. Quentin Sheff will be in front of the 2 as Jordan Spencer leads. Jordan Spencer leads in Daytona through turn 4. Less than 20 to go. 19 laps remaining in Daytona. And from where they were at before the pit stops, Quentin Sheff, although he has a lap ahead of the 2, he is, not a lap ahead of the 2. The 66 lost time to the number 2 through the pit cycle. And that's crazy. As we see the 42 getting slow, he's going to pit this time. Jackson Hartman is going to take the lead away in Daytona. Question is he pitting? Will he pit here tonight? The leader is on pit road, and Jackson Hartman has the lead in Daytona. Jackson Hartman looking for career win number 2. He won at Texas last year. He might be good on the ovals. As we see now, the speed, the race speed. Once we get into the race, Team Penske has pretty much the best strategy and pretty much the fastest cars on the racetrack. As we are seeing it out of the 12 here tonight. Hartman continues to lead, comes to lap 84. Pearson is behind them, same as Kahn. How about Cole Flick there in fourth? There's back here Nate Rao, kind of getting loose there. If things play out like it is going to, we see the 77 gonna make a pit stop. If things shake out like I think it's going to, the 66 will retake the lead. Let's see it. Landon Gilliott is pitting this time. Jordan Spencer, just getting out of pit road, is going to be in 10th. Great pit stop by the 42, as we see the leader pitting the 32, getting sideways on the back. Goodness gracious. I'm honestly shocked we have not seen any accidents while people are trying to get to pit road, and while that's happening, lap 85 is going to be on the board as your new leader is Abshar Khan. When everything cycles out, it's going to be Quentin Sheff who's going to have the lead once again in Daytona. But it's going to be a battle between him and this guy right here. Here comes the Team Penske number 2. This is going to be the eventual battle for the lead, so I'm just staying on it right here. Nolan Farley wants a win here in his career. Quentin Sheff wants to go back to back. Sheff rides in second. Who did we see win last year? That was Grady Broughton, and he had a huge lead over the field. Now tonight, we are going to see maybe a back-to-back. We are either going to see a multi-time winner tonight or a first-time winner tonight. Colin still on the back straightaway. Let's see him here. Is he going to pit this time? Yes, he is, and around he goes. Abshar Khan goes around. And there's one of the first backstretch accidents we've seen. The 83 now finally getting back onto the racetrack after spinning out. And the 32 and the 33 make contact with him. And we see the 83 come to pit road. It's a 2-second lead with 14 laps to go. Heavy damage on the nose of the 42. That 42 is slowing up the 2's teammate of Maya Dimick. But great run by Nolan Farley. Here he comes. Well, tragedy has played out, and we are about to see a battle between a multi-time winner in the Crazy Sports Good League and a driver looking for his first career win. Who do you think is more hungrier? I have to say, I think it's going to be Nolan Farley who is the most hungry. It's going to be a good battle. 13 laps remaining in Daytona. The sun has completely gone down. There's no sunlight left. They race into the night. And the 66, Quentin Sheff, won in the rain last week. And this race started out in the rain. Quentin Sheff has had speed all night long and is showing up once again. His brother Kellen, he won on a road course. He won on an oval at Texas. And now we are just 12 laps away from seeing all 3 races belong to both Sheffs. And Quentin Sheff might be the first multi-time winner, and we might see even more drivers making it into the playoffs on points. We did not see any multi-time winners last year. This season, this season, I think with the speed of the chefs, I think we might see them win multiple races. You can see the two trying to get a lot of clean air on the nose of his race car. He's still 3/10 back. 11 laps to go in Daytona. Quentin Chef leads. Then it's 26-second gap back to third place running. How about back in third? Jackson Hartman is back in third. I think he just pitted to get tires. Hartman is in third. Team Penske. Their strategy has been outstanding. But the strategy out of the 66, can it be beat? Out of turn number 4. 2 hands up. 10 laps remaining in Daytona. And it's all Quentin Chef. He's already won a race this year. Trying to get his second win of the year. Quentin Chef, yeah. I've been saying this over and over and over again to remind you guys, he won last week. He's trying to go back-to-back as he's trying to become the first driver in multiple years to win back-to-back races. I don't remember the last time we saw back-to-back wins by a driver in back-to-back races. I mean, it's been a very, very long time since that's happened. 9 laps to go, and Quentin Chef trying to break that streak. Quentin Chef is looking for win number 2 this year, but he has a very hungry driver in the name of Nolan Farley right behind him. Farley looking for career win number 1. Nolan Farley wants a win in his career. He wants to do well. He made the championship race on points last year, and he might be making the championship race on points or maybe a win this year. Chef gets slow. The 29 is there. Quentin Chef continues to lead on lap 93. 8 laps to go now here in Daytona. The 2 has not been able to close in and take the lead away from your leader. Quentin Chef just has the lead. Uh-oh. 8 laps to go. The thing that's gonna get crazy. Let's ride along with the 66. He has roof cam. You can see it. It is starting to get more and more dark because it's night and of clouds. The rain is back. Everybody is hearing on the radio, the rain is back once again. When will the skies start to let loose? We'll come to 6 to go. The track might not even get wet enough, so that they would have to pit, to get fresh tires, fresh wet tires. Here comes the 2, Farley down to the inside. The 66 left the lane wide open, and it's less than a tenth. Now Farley wants the win. It's gonna rain any second now, any time. A lot of side-by-side racing in front of your leader with 6 laps to go. 6 to go. Look at all the drivers going way wide here. The 29 and 18 make contact. The 82 lap car. There. Now here comes the 2. The 66 gets slowed up by a lap car. And now, you see the 66. He's going to block the 2. 5 laps to go here in Daytona. This won't be the first race I mean, this won't be the only race here at Daytona. As later in the year, we are going road course racing in a 4-hour sprint at the Daytona road course, and Matthew Campton might actually be racing that one in the 51. Here we go, the 66. Come to turn 3 and 4, come to the start-finish line, this time by, he's about to get 4 laps to go. Things are going to get interesting. Nolan Farley in second. 4 laps to go now. Twin Chef leads. Are we going to see someone going back-to-back in the name of Quentin Chef? Or are we going to see Nolan Farley get his first career win? And the thing that I'm not even talking about that might even happen if it starts to rain too much, the 12 might close back in on the leaders. The 66 using the bottom, getting more clean air, starting to pull back away from second place running Nolan Farley. And the 66 in the wake of the lap car. 3 laps to go in Daytona. We have 3 laps to go. Three to go. And we're coming to 2 to go. Some drivers already kind of getting squirrely here. Coming to 2 laps to go. If Nolan Farley has anything for your leader, he has to do it now or in the next 2 laps. Time is running out for Nolan Farley to get that first career win. Quentin Chef, 2 laps remaining. Next time by, it is going to be the moment that everybody wanted. And the flag that everybody wanted to see. The white flag. You can see it. The 2 is not too far behind. And there are some lap cars now right in front of your leaders. The 66 to the inside of the 82. That's going to slow him up. Chef gets around Irwin. Lap car Grant Irwin gets passed by the leader. White flag is in the air. One more time around at Daytona. Question is, if it starts to rain, which I think it is starting to rain just a bit, when it starts to rain, will we see the cars get slow if it starts to rain harder? I don't think it's going to rain harder when they cross the line. It's like I said a lap ago, it was pretty much too little too late if he hadn't made a move. For the first time in his career, and for the first time in a long, long time, we are going to see a driver go back-to-back. Quentin Chef will win at Daytona. He goes back-to-back. Quentin Chef hangs on to win at Daytona. Started and finished kinda in the rain, but Quentin Chef wins at Coda and now wins at Daytona. And we have yet to see a driver other than the Chef get to victory lane. That's 66. Quentin Chef back-to-back wins, which means we will now see 3 drivers make it into the championship race on points. A multi-time winner. Let's go to the back. I'm having the 50. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, I was correct. The 11 only made 1 pit stop. It only ran 62 laps. Quentin Chef led the most laps, but that 11 was close as well. That will do it, folks. Thanks for watching here at Daytona.